Hey guys, I'm here. Disappointing Dodger game. Hard to watch him play like that. But the Dodgers probably have them right where they want them. Let them think that it's over. But that's 7 game series, so they could come back and win 2, 3 in a row. See what happens. April. There's a bunch of you guys here. Oh, Jeff is here. Thought he was going to be busy. So Crappie Mike got 40 plus fish today. Yeah, the Dodgers need to do a lot more. Hey, Lloyd. Hey, Oz. Shogun. Franco got a 21-pound ling. That's awesome. Hey, Al. So, Arn, you want to know how fishing is, Catalina? It's been pretty good. There's a yellowtail there. Not a lot of yellowtail. You're not seeing the numbers like you were seeing before. But there's still yellowtail there. Guys are catching them. And like I said, not as many as they were getting before, but they are there. So hopefully it'll keep getting better. Let's see what's going on. So Franco, you're at Pismo Beach. Thinking about going up there. Hey Terry. Enrique. From Montebello. Go Oilers. Hi Henry. So my Al Sereno fan club is down in San Quentin today. That sounds fun. Hey Kevin. Is the game over yet, Kevin? When I left, it was 2 outs. 2 outs, and I needed 6 more runs. Or something like that. I'm gonna have to put the smile thing for you guys. So those of you that shop for stuff for home from Amazon, we have a smile donation thing for my youth foundation, and I need to put that up there for you guys. I did find a bunch of rods for you guys, so I'm gonna post those up. Hey Terry, thank you for your super chat. Oz too, thank you very much. I appreciate it. These are the items that we're doing today. Guess I should show you guys them. Got a bunch of stuff there. Just gotta slide this over this way. There we go. It's 6'8". It's 8'7" with 2 outs. Oh my gosh. I should record this. If they tie it up, let me know. I'm going to go record it. It's in the next room. There's a runner on third. See what else is going to go on here. So, question is, what do you think I should use? What do you think I should do to get my bait past the Bonita and get it to yellowtail? That's a hard one. That's part of the problem with Catalina. There are so many Bonita over there that's hard to get through them. You can try like a dropper loop rig. We had a guy fishing for sheephead, and he was able to catch a hooker yellowtail on a dropper loop rig with shrimp. So you could try that. Shane is at work in Vancouver. I guess you're working on a TV show or something. All the game's over. Dodgers lost 8-7. That would have been good if they could have at least tied it. Okay. Yeah, Enrique, don't use a swivel. You don't need a Carolina rig when you're fishing for a bonita and yellowtail. If you're going to use a sliding sinker, just tie it on behind the hook. Just have the hook and your line, sliding sinker, and that's it. No swivel. Hello, Tracy. Joe V. He wants to like this, but he doesn't like it because there is no theme or topic. Joe, the topic is fishing. You can ask any fishing questions you have. Sometimes the guys go into food, but that's basically the theme and the topic is all about fishing. I don't have a TV show about washing cars or doing tune-ups on cars or mountain climbing. My TV show is all about fishing. So if you want to ask fishing questions, feel free to ask fishing questions. So Shane's asking about salmon in Southern California. Yes, I've seen salmon caught as far down as Ensenada, Mexico. But there was years where we would catch a bunch of them out of Ventura and Oxnard. I've seen them caught in Newport Canyon. I've seen them caught at the Horseshoe, Redondo Canyon. But yeah. Well, Joe, we don't really have a plan here. It's just kind of open dialogue. So if people want to ask fishing questions, we can do that. We do sometimes do when people are asking about specific fishing. I'll do some demos and stuff. But here it's a little bit more casual. I guess like my TV show. Hey, Deep Blue, thank you. And today, some of the discussions about the Dodgers because they're in playoffs. Okay. Yes, Lloyd, we just talk about whatever's coming up. And if you guys have specific fishing questions, I'd be glad to answer them. What's nice about this group here over some of the other ones, Joe, is here we have a bunch of people like Jeff that does a lot of big tuna fishing, people like Tyler that fish piers and jetties. So if people have specific questions, those guys are glad to help them. Okay, Kevin, why is only the Freedom getting the tuna? I don't know where the Eldorado or the. I guess I could check on my phone see where they've been fishing, but I'm guessing the Freedom is going down farther south, um, or they're going out to Tanner or Cortez. But that'd be kind of far for a 1 day trip. I would think it'd be a day and a half trip to go that far. Let me see if I can see where the boats have been. Eldorado has been fishing. Let's see where they've been heading. Yeah, I can't tell if the Eldorado's been going to Nick or maybe Cortez or Tanner. There's a couple of days that they went down towards San Diego. And the Freedom has been fishing all over. They've been going down. Looks like they've been fishing the 43 and out toward Nick. So I don't know which days they've been where, but that's what it looks like. Let's see. Lewis wants to know about a rod. The problem with rods, Lewis, is that there's just so many different models and brands that you really need to go to a store and see what your budget is. So there's lots of stuff you can get. So Jeff said he caught a king salmon at Dana Harbor. Yeah, because the water gets deep out of Dana, so that could happen. Mark going to the Catalina this weekend. We should expect lots of Bonita and some yellowtail. There's tons of Bonita there. Hmm. Lloyd's talking about the dinner he had. Let me see what else. See what else is going on here. Henry. Was that about the prize? Because that got mailed to you today from last week's raffle prize or Tuesday's raffle prize. Elite Angler. How many seasons do I have? You know about the TV show? 34 years. I guess that's 34 seasons. Hey, Azov, thank you very much for your super chat. Oh, Fred, I didn't know anybody caught a salmon on the Annie B. That's pretty cool. Dog and BB. Is it legal to fish on a 6-pack boat while waiting for lobsters? Yes, it's legal. It's legal to rod and reel fish and hoop net at the same time. High reeler, what happened to the big sand bass spawns in Huntington Flats? That's a good question. A lot of people think that a lot of those bass, those spawning bass, got eaten that year that we had the giant squid over there on the flats, but nobody really knows for sure. Yeah, Jeff, is Tanner Cortez too far for a 1-day trip? I'm just wondering if the guys are doing day and a half or just 1-day trips. So Franco wants to know, what's your biggest bat ray? I don't know. 60 pounds, 70 pounds? I don't know. I really don't. Like when I catch a bat ray, it's not because I'm trying to catch them. Usually I'm halibut fishing or something. Then I hook one. But I usually don't fish for them. So is it raspberry roach? And Dan, I just got back from a 2-day in Pacifica. Caught limits of bluefin. That's good. Caught 20 to 45 pounds. 25 pounder. Yeah, I mean, fish are fish. I mean, some fish will come in really easy, and other fish will fight really hard. So I see that a lot with marlin. You catch a 200-pound marlin, and it acts like it's a 600-pounder. So yeah, it can be like that. Oh, so Oz says that the El Dorado was up kelp patty fishing on San Clemente. So as if got to get you a raffle ticket. All right, there's 4 of you guys in the super chat so far. Thank you very much for that. April. Okay. So Jeff, that's where the Pacifica was, or out there by you at Tanner. Okay, Kenneth has a question. Mark, what's a good lobster bait? I like salmon heads. I know some people swear by mackerel and fresh sardines, but I like I like salmon heads. Hey Daniel, thanks for joining us. Okay, so Kenneth, daughter wants to get started rod wrapping. Where do I point her? What's the best? What's the startup cost? Um, the startup cost is the blanks and the thread and the guides, the real seat and all that. You might want to have her start out by taking some of your damaged rods and have her putting new guides on for you, and then she can graduate to doing a whole rod. But that's just my idea. If you're looking for some blanks, I have some blanks still left over that were donated to my youth foundation, and we're selling them pretty cheap, like $20. So if you want to get some, I probably have some for $10, and she can use those. They're American Premier blanks, and she could use those if you want to use those. What else? Oh, we also have some really cheap rods, like $5 rods, that are old rods that were donated to us that my youth foundation selling. If you want to take one of those and just strip it all the way down, take all the guides off, and let her practice on that, you could do that too. Todd, what kind of fish can I expect on an overnight trip? 2.5 days in mid-November. I'm guessing the tuna will still be around November. They like I said, we were catching them last year in December, so I would think they'll still be around. Yes, Shane, Bonita is a tuna. Okay, let me scroll down to the other questions. What other? What's my biggest fish? Probably like a 500 to 600 pound blue marlin. Lloyd, this time of year at the Channel Islands, it's pretty much rockfish, lingcod, rockfish, but I have been seeing the gentlemen catching quite a few yellowtail, and they are still catching yellowtail at the islands. So I would expect, you could probably find some yellowtail there. I have a trip next week on the Coral Sea. Hopefully, we get out. It's already been postponed twice because of weather, and I don't know what's going to happen next week. They're talking about maybe rain, but hopefully not. Lewis, white spectra color. He wants to know if white color spectra is the best color to use. I think it is just because it's easier to see in low light situations early in the day, late in the day. I know a lot of people like to use colored ones. I tried using the dark greens and the dark blues, and I like those. But the problem was early morning, late in the day, it was impossible to see. So that's why the only spectra I use now, the only color I use is white. Fred, hey Tango. Okay, he's talking about bat rays. What high reeler? Let's know what lures I recommend for bonita. Basically a small magic metal jig. This one's too big. This is 8 ounce. but you'd want to use like a 1.5 to like 3 ounce and cast it working back in fast. That'll work good. Also, a stick lure, stick bait type lure, something like this will work good. Probably not such a big bill because you don't need it to go that deep, but thin profile lure like this works out really good for the Bonita. And then you can also use Magic Meadow Light. I've been catching some yellows this year on them, and we always catch Barracuda and Bonita on those too. Calicos like them too. So those are a couple lures that work for you. Kevin, Paul's Kitchen. You're at Paul's Kitchen today? It's not the one in Monterey Park. I guess there's another one downtown LA somewhere. What's your most expensive rod and reel? Probably custom CalStar rods. And I don't know, Pin 2-speed internationals, 70s, 60s, stuff like that. So what's Sam saying here? I missed it. Sam, hey Dan, was at Catalina on Friday, hooked up on yellowtail, but lost it. About the second time it's happened to me. Yeah, the best way to improve your chances is pull harder. Don't let the fish get into the structure. Fish gets into the structure, gets in the rocks, gets in heavy kelp, you're going to lose them. But yeah, probably pull a little bit harder. Try to get the fish in a little bit faster. Shane, the squid seems to be. Yeah, there's a lot of small bass right now. I had private charters Saturday and Sunday, and we must have caught 60, 70 bass and only a handful of legals. I think we had 10 legals one day, and the other day we had like 8. But okay, so Jeff is saying that Tanner Cortez is doable and it's a 9-hour boat ride. That's a long boat ride back, but you get a few hours of fishing there in the morning. Hey, Bo, how you doing? Okay, DeBerry, what's that? What reel would you recommend for calicos and small yellowtail? I like the low profiles, either the Komodas or the Lexus. I think are fine. I'd put 50-pound tests, Spectra on the back, and 25-pound test mono in front, and have a bunch of mono, at least 75 yards of mono. You need that shock absorber. Is a Palomar knot good for surface? It's a hard knot to tie with a surface jig because the way you have to work it. You're probably better off using an improved clinch knot or use my Hernandez knot. It'll work out really good for tying a lure on. And please do not use a swivel putting on lures. Tie it straight on to the lure. So I see people all the time on the boats will put a swivel on and then they'll put the swivel to the ring. Tie your line straight to the ring of the lure like that. Don't use a swivel. Nothing kills action more on a jig than adding a swivel to your jig. That's just going to kill it. Okay. I think that's the one thing I mention every week. Do not use a swivel. Do not use a swivel to a jig. Do not use a swivel to a bucktail. Never do this. And never, ever, ever do a swivel to a hook. I know it sounds like it's easy and convenient, but it doesn't work. How do I know it doesn't work? Because I've tried it. All right, there's a few more super chat people. Have I ever taken my boat to Cortez and Tanner? No, I have not. I don't think I have the range in my 31 footer. Fishing. Dog and BB, thank you very much. Henry, thank you very much. What other questions do we have here? Tracy, how come you don't promote or mention Cajun Red Line? I used to use Cajun all the time. They were a sponsor of mine, so that was the only line I could really use because they were a sponsor. But they've been bought and sold a few times, so I don't even know who owns them anymore. Kenneth, you're welcome. Sally, what kind of bait holder do you recommend for hoop netting? You're talking about like the bait cages? I used to use the wire ones. I like those a lot. And then last year I had one trip where one seal ate 8 out of my 10 cages. And I meant 8 of them. I mean, he destroyed them in little pieces. So now I'm switching over to the Roach Coach, and I have some tube ones that I'm going to try out. But I'm going more anti-seal and seal proof this year because it was pretty brutal last year. Have any of you guys been lobster fishing this year? I heard that this past weekend was pretty good. Some of my friends went out and they did really good. Jamie's going to be out with me in the Legend tomorrow. Yeah, just a reminder, guys, I won't be here Thursday night because Thursday night I'll still be on the Legend and I'll be too far out at sea to do the live talk. So I won't be able to do that. Hey, Nate, thank you for your support and your super chat. Was that Gordo Z, Nate? Thank you very much. Thank you again, Henry. Fred. He's talking about rod wrapping. What does Don say? I live in North County, San Diego, just getting into surf fishing. I really recommend Don using the gulp worms and soft shell crabs. If you can find the sand crabs with soft shells, that works out really good too. There's lots of lures that people like to use, but any like stick bait kind of lure, but without the bill, just straight without the bill with a halibut and stuff. I know guys that do good with crocodiles, but something like this too would be good. A thin profile type lure would be good in the surf for the halibut. And I do see people catch fish on crocodiles and stuff like that. The shiny lures. Jeff, have I ever fished any long range trips? The longest trips I've fished is 6 and 7 days. Haven't been on a 10-day trip or longer. Henry, is there time to do fishing on your lobster charters? There's a little bit of time while we wait for it to get dark, and depending on where we end up fishing, if we're moving around a lot, there isn't much time to fish. But I do have people that charter me and book it for a whole day trip, so we'll spend part of the afternoon fishing with rod and reel, and then we'll go lobster fishing. Hey Tyler, how you doing? Um, the charters went okay. It wasn't anything great this weekend. Plenty of fish. We had everything from calicos, barracuda, whitefish, sculpin, some rockfish, and tons of calicos. There's tons of calicos. Just the biggest problem we had was catching legal calicos. Lots of shorts. Terry says, Dan, someone wanted to donate. Will you accept them? No, if anybody wants to donate rods and reels to the Youth Foundation, we'd be glad to have them. Aaron, what fish can you catch on a spoon jig in Southern California? You can catch barracuda and bonita and calicos. That would work fine. And if you use them in the surf, you can catch halibut and probably barred perch too. So tomorrow, Pinn's low profile reel comes out. I haven't even seen it yet. Michael, what difference really does it make if you use spinning reels, bait casters? No, it isn't about the fish knowing the difference, Michael. It's about having the larger drags and more line capacity if you're fishing like an international larger reel compared to a little spinning reel. Now, on the East Coast, the guys use a lot of spinning reels because they're on a boat with just one or two people. So if they hook a tuna, they hook a marlin, sailfish, they can go chase it. The problem in Southern California is most of the fishing is done on big sport boats. So if you're on a big sport boat catching 100-pound tunas and you got 30 other people on the boat or 20 other people, they're not going to go chase the fish. So you have to have enough line capacity to fight the fish. So that's what the problem is. If you're fishing for calicos, yellowtail, bonita, spinning reels are fine. The only problem you have, like I said, is when you get into the bigger fish. So, Michael, that's why a lot of guys use conventionals. But if you're on your own boat, you can use a spinning reel. No problem. You can go follow a fish. Tyler, do you know if I can go hooping on party boats? No, you cannot go hooping on party boats. But that's a good question. If you go on an overnight trip, you might want to ask them. If you go on an overnight trip, if they would let you drop a hoop net. The other problem you may have is you may not have enough line. If they're anchored up in over 100 feet and you just have a regular hoop net, it only comes with 75 feet of rope. So I don't know. Call the landing and ask. I don't know. That might be something nice to try. If you're at Nicholas or San Clemente. San Clemente, the times I've done it there, all we caught was a lot of shorts. Okay, Raspberry Roach, Dan, on big sport boats, when you are hooked up on a fish and swims in the boat, what is the best way to get them out? The best way is to move around the boat so you don't have the fish go into the boat. So if you have the fish on the back of the boat and he starts running to the bow, you got to go follow your fish right away. If you just stay put and the fish gets around the bow, then that's when you have trouble. But normally, if you follow your fish around, that isn't a problem. The problem is when people stay in one spot and the fish goes underneath, and then the line gets stuck on the sonar or transducer or something. Then that's usually the problem. Then they usually try to use a gaff or a spreader to get your line out of that, but that doesn't always work. Jeff. Okay, so Jeff's saying when they're trolling the cedar plug, they get the bigger bonitas. That'll work out good. There's a few more super chats. Thank you guys. Thank you. Was that Herdern? Doddy Herdern. Thank you very much. So Jorge wants to know conventional or spinning for yellowtail. If you're at fishing Catalina, you can use either one. That will work out fine. So Kevin, Paul's Kitchens, is the same owners, right? So that's in downtown on San Pedro, over by Dodger Stadium, I think, isn't it? I should go there. I haven't been Paul's Kitchen forever. I've never been to that one. I only went to the one Monterey Park. Dondi Herder, what rod would you pair up with the Komodo? What my Komodos, I use a lot of the California rods from Turner's, and they're Phoenix blanks. They work great. Just get a rod that's rated for 25-pound. So when I say 25, 30-pound, make sure they have like a 20 to 40 type rod. That would be good. The number in the middle is where you want to fish it at. Do you need a special license? For lobster, yes, you need to have a lobster card. They're not very expensive, and you can pick it up at any place where you get it, a regular license. Big Five, Turner's, most tackle shops, they'll sell them. Okay. Yeah, Kevin's talking about using swivels for trolling. Those are different swivels. I'm talking about a swivel like this, where you connect. Like you could use a swivel like this for a Carolina rig, and I might use it for halibut fishing, but mainly I use that for surf fishing. But do not use a big swivel like this that opens up for a jig, like a bucktail or a metal jig, or to put on a hook. What he's talking about, um, the type of swivel Kevin's talking about, barrel swivel, ball bearing swivel. That's for trolling. Yeah, so Jeff is saying when those boats go all the way out to Tanner from San Pedro or San Diego, on a 1 day trip, they only get 4 to 5 hours of fishing time, which can be enough time when you're looking for tuna and stuff like that. Jack, do we have any tips for catching halibut? The only jigs I really use for halibut, and I'm not fishing for halibut, is a bucktail when I'm fishing for white sea bass. Put a whole squid on it, bounce it on the bottom, and that's what I normally do. But I saw someone mention ball bouncing. That's pretty popular. Swim baits and jigs work good in the surf, but I haven't tried using a swim bait for halibut only. Tyler, do you know if there's lobster in the harbors? Yeah, there's definitely lobster in the harbors. I've seen them in Alamitos Bay. I've even seen them stuck in fences in Alamitos Bay where they died. Have I been to Port St. Louis? If it's the one in California, I have. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Okay, so Snail Boat's got 5 bugs so far. Shane went lobster hooping with friends boat out of Dana. We caught like 15, most of them were undersized silverbacks. Yeah, that happens a lot. Dog and BB. I have no idea if Taco Bell hot sauce works. I've never tried it. What I used to do sometimes when I fished a lot of plastics was make a squirt bottle, and I would go ahead and put like sardines and anchovies in it, smash it all up, get it all liquidy, or throw it in a blender and then squirt that on my lures. But I've never tried Taco Bell hot sauce. Hog Swad went hooping, netting, still learning. Very, you know, yeah, they can. Yeah, you want to use those two bait cages. Sounds like you made your own, so that's good. Or you can buy some of the other ones that are out there. Tracy, you're welcome. I'm glad I was able to help you. Yeah, that's a problem I've had, Jeff, when I try fishing for lobsters under my boat dock. I always get slammed by seals. George or Jorge, what's the legal size for calicos? Yes, it's 14 inches. Used to be 12 a few years back. Now it's 14 inches. George and Barracuda. Barracuda has to be 28 inches. You should get a ruler tape they sell at tackle shops and put it on your boat. That way you always know. Because it'll say on there, different fish and the sizes. Hey guys, we got over 90 people in here and only 48 likes. Can we get up to like 60 likes, please? Yeah, Dog and BB, I know what you mean about Belmont Pier. I grew up, fishing that pier all the time. That's how I fell in love with fishing, going out of Belmont Pier and Seal Beach Pier on their half day trips, and before that, even the Annie B on the barge, and then graduate to 3/4 day trips. That's all they ran out of there. They didn't do overnight trips out of there. It was just, if I remember correctly, they only did half day and 3/4 days. And then once the barge was gone, they did what they call a barge boat. So it would only fish around the breakwater. So that was fun. Yeah, George, that's a good point that Deep Blue's making there. Fishing Game isn't going to ask you that you heard from somebody else what the size limits are and the regulations. You really need, you can check it online and you can see on their website, and it's real simple. It shows you what it is. So make sure you know what barracuda is, sheephead is, sculpin is. And as we get here toward the end of the year, rockfish, sculpin, all that usually is closed. So you got to think about that too. So Jeff is telling you guys where the big lobsters are. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard that the lobsters walk all the way from Clemente, Catalina, all the way to Long Beach. So that's what I've been told. Jack, you want to know how deep to catch halibut? On the bottom. They're always on the bottom. So if you're in 75 feet of water or 20 feet of water, you got to be right on the bottom. So Jean, hey Dan, going out of H&M, San Diego, probably Coronado Islands, not sure. What size test should I put on my two setups? If you're going to Coronado's, 25 pound, 30 pound will probably be the main line that you need. But if you are going out of Coronado's, make sure you have a U.S. passport or you will not be able to get on the boat. You have to have a passport to fish Coronado Islands or 12 miles or less from shore. You don't need a passport for tuna fishing because they're fishing over 12 miles. When was the last time I fished in Mexican waters? August was the last time. Twice in August. Maybe it's September too. I think I was on the Excalibur in September. But I was down in Mexico in August down the East Cape. Dan Demand, do you recommend Spectra line with Top Shot Mono for saltwater? Um, yeah, I do. I really like having um, for yellowtail, white sea bass, bigger fish. I like having at least 75 yards, 100 yards of mono top shot. Okay. John, what do I think about Gulp? I like Gulp products for I pretty much use them like the sandworms when I go surf fishing, and I have used them for calicos. Haven't really used them for lingcod or anything because they're so soft. And John, thank you very much for your super chat. And Jean, thank you for your super chat support. I appreciate that. And every time you guys do a super chat um, deal, you're in the raffle for one of this prize here. All that stuff's going to a winner. All right, let's see if we can answer a few more questions here. All right, we're at 75 likes, 73 likes. That's good. Good fishing today offshore. That's good to know. George, would you try those cheap conventional reels even? Probably wouldn't use a really cheap reel. Um, you get what you pay for. And, if you're going to spend hundreds of dollars to go on a fishing trip and you're using a cheap reel and it blows up on you and you hook that fish of a lifetime, that's not good. So Jeff has a good point here as far as terminal swivels. So the swivels, like ball bearing swivels, are good. The snap swivels are bad. But the snap swivels are fine if you're surf fishing, trout fishing, doing the Carolina rig, something like that works out good. Okay, what other questions? Yeah, the marlin are even running up here, and friends of mine have been catching them off Catalina. Let's check what the fish reports are. I haven't checked them. Let's see what the fish reports are since I have a trip tomorrow. Going on a day and a half trip. So today, fishermen's had 150 bluefin, 52 yellowfin, 45 dorado, 20 skipjack, 3 yellowtail. H&M, where I'm going out tomorrow, had 291 yellowfin, 190 dorado, 165 yellowtail, 90 bluefin, and 30 skipjack. Seaforth had 282 yellowtail, 206 yellowfin tuna, 125 bluefin, and 70 dorado, 50 skipjack. That's good. So we should do good on my day and a half trip. So I'm not sure where we're going to fish. Jeff's making it sound like we're going to go to Cortez or Tanner. We'll see what we're going to do. Let's see. I haven't checked, Jeff. Are there any more hurricanes coming up? Bar soap. Yeah, George, you need to protect yourself when you go fishing. So I always have on my charter boat, I have two measuring tapes, one on the ice chest and one on one of the walls of the boat. So we can always check it. And if we have a bunch of fish going on, we don't have to wait for one. We can go one or the other. That's funny. Tango diver. You can hear the lobsters. Yeah, Michael, I hope between Jeff and I, we answered your question the difference between conventional and spinning. And for the bigger fish, I think it really helps use conventional. Matthew, aviation, yeah. Bonita like warm water. Jeff, who takes care of April when you go on fishing trips? When I go on an overnight trip, she stays here. April's fine here for 2 nights by herself. I wouldn't leave her more than 2 nights. She has plenty of food outside. April. And also, my neighbors are they come over and check on her and give her extra food too. She needs food, but normally she has more than enough food on 1 or 2 nights that I'm gone. And longer than that, like when I was down the East Cape, or when I go to Emeryville and stuff, then she has to go to kennel. Okay, what else? Jim, when do you sleep? Like most people, after the news, 10, 11 o'clock, I don't know, 11 midnight. If I have a bunch of charters back to back, then I go sleep earlier. But if I don't have anything going on, I'll stay up later. Um, yeah, I've never tried using gulp as a cut bait. I do cut the sandworms. Sometimes they have the bigger worms. I can't find the small ones, and I'll cut those down. But I've never tried cutting the rest of the different gulp baits up. I guess that would work. That's a good thing to know, Shane. Thank you for telling me that. Matthew, will mackerel strips on a smaller bucktail work? Yeah, it works fine. Trisha, Washington State loves Dan Hernandez. Thank you. Thank you very much. CF, hello. Okay, Dogging BB, let me know how you guys doing your lobster. I have a lobster charter on Sunday, so I will be out there fishing lobster on Sunday. So is that Saul Martinez? Just going fishing Saturday for yellowtail. What pound fluorocarbon do you recommend? Um, if you're going to use like 50 pound, 65-pound spectra, make sure you have at least 50, 75 yards, 100 yards of monofilament, like 25-pound. And then if you want to put a piece of fluorocarbon on top of that, you can, or just fish straight mono. But you need to have that shock absorber. You need to have some, or you need to have some socket absorber for the yellowtail. Here's April. Terry was just asking for you, April. HM, when is El Nino coming back? I have no idea. Yeah, Tango Diver. I learned the same way. Um, Back in the day, we used to catch a lot of bonita at the end of San Gabriel River by Alamitos Bay, and we would just use dead anchovies on spinning rods. We used to use Mitchell Garcia 300s with like 20-pound test line, cast them out with no sinker, a dead anchovy, let it drift down. Bonita would pick it up, and we'd be fighting Bonita. That was fun. So Jeff says April has her own show. Let's talk hot dogs. She was just here. You guys didn't see her? She'll be back one more time. So Shane got a 30-pound salmon. That's nice. I haven't caught a salmon in a couple years. I'm thinking about going up north next month, guys, and go on one of the combo rockfish crab trips. So if I do go up there out of Emeryville, maybe I'll let you guys. I will let you guys know. So if any of you want to join me on a boat, Yanks. Say Yanks Sportfish. Hey Dan, what is the largest white sea bass you've ever caught? Would you catch it on? I catch 99% of my white sea bass on a 4 ounce or 2 ounce P52 bucktail with the whole squid on it. And I just flutter it down by the bottom. And I don't know how many I've caught in over the years. I have a jar full of the stones from white sea bass over the years. My largest one's probably about 55 pounds. I did lose one time, about 60 pounds. Um, I already had my limit, and we were on a boat with a bunch of other people, 20 people on the gale force. There was a gale force, or I think it was a gale force, or maybe it was a trip on the Tracer at SBI, but I think it was at Catalina. I had a fish like 60 pounds, and I tried to bounce it up into the boat. And of course, that didn't work out. I lost the fish. But I think the largest one I've ever caught and weighed was 55 pounds. Okay, Jeff. So Jeff says we're probably going to be out at Cortez and Tanner. What's that? Snail boat tea. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope you guys like these. I mean, I know somebody was complaining earlier that we don't really plan these out. We just kind of talk, and that's how I started this. Was during the early days of COVID in March. Was just because there was so much bad information out there about fishing, and people were getting arrested and being detained for going to beaches that they couldn't fish when the beaches were all closed. So I just wanted to try to give you guys some good information. So hopefully you guys are liking this. And as long as you guys enjoy this, I'll keep doing it. So snail boat. Snail boat, you are in the drawing for those prizes. We're going to do the raffle here in about 3 or 4 minutes, guys. So if any of you want to get into it for these prizes over my shoulder, all you have to do is do a super chat, any amount you want. We'll get you a ticket. So Kevin's talking about spinning setups. Yeah, that's another reason too. For a lot of the tuna fishing, the guys like to use rail rods now. You can't do that with the spinning rod. Victor likes the old Alaskan episodes. I need to get back up to Alaska. I haven't been there in like 4 years. Yeah, 60-pound white sea bass. That's fun. I've seen pictures of big ones, like 80-pounders. I haven't caught one that big. but I did catch a 55 pounder. So Kevin's talking about a trip we were on the Tracer where we had limits of white sea bass early. I think like 9 o'clock in the morning. And then we had the boat limited out. Yeah, salmon isn't my favorite fish to eat either, but I do eat some of it. Tony, is Cedros Island open to U.S. boats? No. Um, you have to be on a small boat, a Ponga-sized boat, to fish Cedros Island right now. Um, I guess you could take a small. Well, I don't know for sure. You'd have to check the regulations. I don't know if you had a small American boat, if you could take it there, but you can't fish on like a San Diego sport boat at Cedros Island. Chris, I'm on the Legend, um, but I leave. It sounds like you're going on the trip when my boat comes back in. I get back in Friday morning, and you're probably going out Friday night on the same boat. So yeah, I'll be on the Legend, leaving tomorrow night and fishing Thursday and Friday. Fred Dempsey. Hey Dan, I've been watching since the first live stream. Yes, I agree. I think it's all about your guys' input. And what I've really enjoyed the last few trips is how many of you guys and gals joined me on my 3/4 day trips, my overnight trips, the TV filming trips. I had one trip, I think it was the Tracer Gale Force trip, where over half the people on the boat were you guys, were people that joined me here for the chats. Yeah, Lee, I know what you're talking about. That's the San Gabriel River. That's where we used to fish. I didn't fish on the bridge, but I would fish off the rocks there. Deep Blue, I do not know the answer to that, but you could probably call San Pedro Harbor Patrol and ask them. Yeah, Stephen. Part of the problem with a lot of those reels like that, Avid, is the lever drag. If you have a star drag reel, it casts a lot better, but those lever drag reels do not cast as well. And then you have to adjust the side of it for the tension. Just takes a lot of practice. Yeah, Shane, I had a black sea bass try to eat a calico bass the other day when I was on the Sea Star out of Oceanside, and I had that fish right up next to the boat. I got to edit the video clip for you guys so you can see it. But yeah, we had that. Oh, Jeff, those are big white sea bass, 80 pounders. So Terry, when you go to the market and you buy salmon, the farm raised stuff, the meat's white. That's why you'll see on the packaging for the salmon in the markets lots of times it'll say color added because they actually spray brush on um, or airbrush the color of the salmon on it, and the wild salmon has that nice rich color to it. So if you next time you're in the market and you see farm raised salmon, look at the packaging. It'll say color added. So is that Sammy's? What do party boats do now that it's late in the season? Is it all lobster? No, there's really only a couple of boats that switch over to straight lobster fishing. The Gale Force and the Triton out of San Pedro run what they call combo trips. So they'll go rock fishing or bass fishing for part of the day, and then they'll go lobster fishing till about 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then they'll drive back in, get you back in at midnight. But most of the time, it's not. They're like the only boat that has that run. Some of the boats will just stop fishing. Other boats will keep running surface trips or do rock fishing. But once you get to the end of December, all the rock fishing ends. So a lot of the trips kind of dry up. So Tango Diver, the river fish, if they're freshly into the river, they're good to eat. If they catch them way up the river, they're like zombie looking fish. They're already dying and their meat's falling apart. The ocean salmon, their meat's intact. It's nice and fresh. And lots of times the salmon will stay in the ocean for over a year, yeah, as they get bigger, and then they'll go back in the river to spawn. So that's where you like to get them. Okay, so someone was asking about Cedros. So Jeff says if you use a small boat with Mexican docs, documents, and a biosphere armbands, then you can fish Cedros. But yeah, you have to be in a small boat. I think you have to be like in a boat like a Ponga sized boat. I don't think you can be like even like a 30 footer, but I don't know the rules. Yeah, so I think earlier, once it gets dark, is the best time to fish for lobsters. All right, guys, I still got to charge some batteries and get ready for my trip for tomorrow night. April, come say bye to people. Come on. Here comes April for her last visit of the day. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to do the drawing. And everybody that was in Super Chat, thank you for your Super Chat money. And you guys are in the drawing for these prizes. And your tickets are all in here. And the winner is so Grant Peterson's asking about casting a bait that stuns the fish. I haven't really seen that. You do want to get your bait away from the boat where the crew's chumming. They don't chum the bait right next to the boat, they chum it out away from the boat. And you want to get your bait out that way. And everybody in Washington, thank you for watching. All right, here we go. Here's the winner. And today's winner is Dodd D. Herner. You won. So the winner is congratulations. I think that's the second time he's won. So send me your mailing address and all that, and we'll get that off to you next week. I won't be around Thursday, you guys, because I will be fishing. I will be fishing on the Legend and filming a show. And we did have one cancellation today for our 2-day trip on the Tomahawk. So if any of you are interested in going on the Tomahawk, we have one spot open. And some of you keep asking about private charters. So we're still doing private charters, and we're going to do lobster trips too. So here's a link for my private charters. And let me give you the link for the trip on the Tomahawk. Like I said, I got one spot left. And it's a 2-day trip at the end of the month. So everybody wants to join me on the Tomahawk. Here's a link for it. Yeah, if you guys want to win the prizes, all you have to do is get in the super chat. You can't win it if you don't play. So again, thank you guys for all your support. I greatly appreciate it. And as long as you guys are enjoying these, we'll keep doing it. I'm glad you guys are liking it. So send me your information again, the winner, so I can get that off to you next week. Just drop me an email. All right, thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Good night, everybody.